Hello, everyone, and welcome to Squared Circle Speak. This is our WWE Speak, and we are going to have a lot to talk about. There's a lot happened leading up to Backlash. If you didn't hear or watch our Backlash review, it is up on the channel. We did that yesterday for all you fine folks out there. But this video, we're going to be focused on the week before Backlash, which was Raw, NXT, and Smackdown. And we're also going to be talking about some of the backstage stuff because we had some releases in NXT happen and some other stuff going on in the world of WWE. So we're gonna get into all of this. We had last week we talked about the draft. We had the conclusion of the draft on Raw that we're gonna talk, but we're gonna talk about everything else, including the matches that happened on Raw. Not much happened on Raw, so.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah. So, we had the draft stuff. We're going to skip all that because we kind of hit all that last week. Gunther took on Xavier Woods. Gunther made his return to Monday Night Raw and destroyed Xavier Woods. There was a moment where Kofi wanted to throw in the towel and Woods told him no, and then Gunther just hit him with the STF, so Gunther has another finishing move, and he won by submission. So there you go. Then we had a weird Logan Paul, Jey Uso, Braun Strowman, ISHO Speed, freaking everybody got involved in this, including Patrick Mahomes. This was just a weird segment. Apparently, this was a sponsored segment by Prime. They wanted it to happen this way. But it happened. They tried to beat up Jey. Logan Paul grabbed the 4 Super Bowl rings from Logan Paul, or 3 Super Bowl rings from Patrick Mahomes, and then he tried to hit Jey, but he moved, and Logan Paul knocked out McDonough, and then Strowman made the save. He made his return, and then they all ran away. Weird segment. I don't know what. Apparently, like I said, it was a sponsored segment by Prime. So, Sami Zayn successfully defended the Intercontinental Championship against Bronson Reed because Gable got involved, and Reed and Gable kind of beat him up, and then Reed took out Gable, and then Reed stood tall over Zayn and Gable. And then we had CM Punk and Drew McIntyre talk. This was Punk on the microphone. I will always listen to Punk on the microphone. So good stuff. And Drew McIntyre also was good too. Drew said he couldn't come out, and then Punk was like up in a suite, and then and then Punk kind of went on about it, and good stuff from Punk and McIntyre. When Punk gets cleared, man, that match is going to be amazing. I cannot wait for that match. They're building up pretty nice.
How long do you think it's going to take for them to get cleared? Because they can't build this up forever without them interacting like physically.
Yeah.
Eventually they got to get physical.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's pretty close though. He's not wearing his brace anymore, so I would assume he's probably pretty close to being cleared.
Right.
Liv Morgan defeated Nia Jax. This also included Tiffany Stratton and Naomi all got involved in this thing. So this was just a cluster match that was just, it is what it is. They also
it was setting up their new feuds on SmackDown.
Yeah,
you got Nia Jax moving to SmackDown. So
yeah. The Awesome Truth defeated the Alpha Academy to retain the World Tag Team Championships. This match was not much. It wasn't very long, and not a lot happened.
Right.
And then the main event of the show was the Judgment Day versus Jey Uso, Ricochet, and Andrade, and 6-man action. With Jey, Ricochet, and Andrade getting the win after Jey hit Balor with the splash to pick up the win as a shown off the air on the Go Home show for Backlash. So,
right.
Which we also saw him losing because he got the advantage.
Right. So overall, Raw was not a sellout, Ryan. Spent a couple couple of shows in a row that weren't sellouts. So what do you think? You think it's just the honeymoon phase is over, or do you think Roman Reigns not being there as champion anymore, and the Bloodline storyline kind of not, you know, not where it was with The Rock and everybody there and everything? Do you think it's just kind of cooled off a bit, or do you think they'll get back, or what?
Yeah, I mean, it had to end eventually. Obviously, we all knew that the sellouts couldn't have continued forever. I think it's just a mixture of everything. I think, plus, there was a lot going on right now in the world of sports and everything with NBA Finals and NHL, NBA tournament, NHL tournament. There's a lot else going on that may prevent people from wanting to go to watch wrestling live. There's stuff on TV and a lot going on. So, they still are selling pretty well. They're not selling out, but they're still having really big shows. So, I think Roman Reigns not being there is probably hurting. And this is Raw, and he went really on Raw anyway. So I don't know. Really don't know what it was. It was in Kansas City. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Kansas City just doesn't like wrestling. I don't know. But we all saw it coming, so it's not like it was gonna last forever. So
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, WWE's gonna die. They're perfectly fine. All right. Real quick, we can run down NXT because it was spring breaking night 2. Obafemi defeated Ivar to retain the North American Championship. But the big smoke here is Wesley is back.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna be out longer.
He was supposed to be out like 9 months. But he is back. I think he left in like January, December, something like that. So what? Not very long. I guess he got that John Cena blood in him or something, because he came back and he looks like he's wanting his North American title back. So real big shock, because I did not expect to see Wesley for a long time. So that's awesome. Glad to see Wesley back. Let's hope he can stay healthy this time and does not get injured by Obafemi. Then we got JC Jane defeat Thea Hale, or Thea Hale won, sorry. Thea Hale won by submission, but then afterwards, the big thing that happened is Fallon Henley punched Thea Hale in the face and walked out on her.
Yeah.
And Fallon Henley later said that she's all about her. She's not focused on anybody else. So
Interesting.
not sure why. But I guess JC's been getting in her head, and so she finally, let it get to her. So Thea Hale's just like gonna never have any friends. She's just gonna be. Then we had a debut in the next match as the Good Brothers took on Tyson DuPont and Tyreek Igwe. I don't know who these guys are.
They had a promo last week.
Yes, they had a promo.
And they've been on the Level Up show, but
yeah.
So how did you feel about a debuting team getting beat by old timers?
Yeah, that was kind of weird. I mean, once I saw they were wrestling the Good Brothers, I kind of figured they were going to lose. It's weird to debut them and hype them up and then have them lose. I don't really like it. I think if you're going to debut a team, you need to make them look good in their debut. I mean, they look good here. I mean, but yeah, they lost. So
I don't like their ring attire.
Yeah, it was pretty weird. I did.
Well, the reason I don't like it is because you got what's the other team? Bronco and Lima or whatever. Bronco Lima and whatever the other guy's name is.
Yeah, OT out the mud.
Yeah. So they kind of wear the similar stuff, and like I don't understand.
Yeah, they're kind of like the same team.
I think you need to change them up a little bit.
Just based on like the attire and the way they acted and everything, it was very similar.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, so I don't know. I don't like them losing, but we'll see if they get better. They're very young in the wrestling business, so we'll see what happens. Then we had the announcement for how we're going to crown the first NXT Women's North American Championship. At the UFC Apex in Las Vegas at Battleground, Sunday, June 9th, there will be a ladder match. Yay, got to cop out and do the simple match here.
Yeah, it's Shawn Michaels for you.
Yeah. Beginning next week, they will have a combine I don't know what that means, but the 12 superstars that impress the most will then go on to have qualifying matches, and the winners of those qualifying matches will then compete in the ladder match. That's kind of confusing. Let's do a tournament.
It's overly confusing.
Just do a tournament. So I don't know. I don't know how many women are going to be competing in this combine. I don't know how many women they're going to have, but then the top 12. Anyway, it's going to be a ladder match on Battleground. So there you
go. All right.
It was a big segment, and then Michin came out and said she wants a shot at the title too. So, but the best part of this is Ariana Grace. Ariana Grace is the best character in NXT. I mean, she is great. I love Ariana Grace. She should have mentioned about why must we be so aggressive? Like, why do we have to have a ladder match? Why can't we just have it, be a normal match? Why do we have to be so violent? And then all the women immediately started beating each other up. It was great. I loved it. Sean Spears lost to Rich Holland, Nathan.
Rich Holland. Yeah, so why is Sean Spears back?
Yeah, to train, I guess, because he sure ain't winning matches.
No.
I don't know. I don't know what. I guess he just came back to put people over in the train, I guess.
So weird.
Yeah. Roxanne Perez was in the office asking who's going to be her next challenger, and it's going to be Chelsea Green next week.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't either. I'm sure she's going to lose and not be back, but no.
Very weird. Very weird.
Axiom and Nathan Frazier defeated the Authors of Pain to retain the tag team championship. This was a fun match. Just because you had the powerhouse Authors of Pain versus the high flying Axiom and Nathan Frazier. I always liked those matches. The New Catch Republic got involved and helped Frazier and Axiom win because Akam and Razor beat them up on Raw. So we got cross-brand feuds going on, I guess.
Right.
And then your main event was the women's underground match between Lola Vice and Natalya. What'd you think of this, Nathan?
Can Natalya retire already? I mean, this was all right. It's just it should have been somebody else. Natalya does not need to be in this spot.
Yeah.
Considering they were, the person that was training Natalya, who was originally feuding with Lola Vice.
Yeah, they should have just had Carmen Petrovic do this match.
Yeah.
She can actually fight.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, she can actually fight. Natalya can't actually fight. So you're putting a woman who has no fighting experience in this thing. It's just weird.
It was very weird.
But yeah, that was NXT. It wasn't a terrible show, but it was all right.
All right, let's go on to SmackDown. Oh, wait, you got something?
Well, I was just going to talk about the releases since the releases are tied to NXT.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to say a lot of names, and I don't think anyone's going to know any of these names.
There's
a couple,
maybe two,
2 or 3. So the big name was Drew Gulak, which we will talk about. But the other people getting released were Daryl Manson, Vlad Pavlenko, Ezekiel Balogan, Kaya Saint, Emma Diaz, Valentina Feroz, Keyshawn LaFleur, Trey Bearhill, and Julian Baldy.
So, out of all these people, the one that I can't really say I'm upset because we didn't see as much of her as I would have liked, but she had the most upside because she actually was, there was another South American girl besides
Yulisa Leon.
Yes,
she was granted her release last year.
Yeah, and she was the teammate of Valentina, or whatever her name is. Yeah, Faraz, and she was really good. Faraz, I mean, I watched her on Level Up. I watched her on NXT a few times, and she wasn't bad. And so I'm not. They say that if you're not improving, so I'm gonna assume that it was promos or something because her in-ring work was way better than any of these other people on the list.
Yeah. Also, apparently, Boa was released as well.
That
Uh,
sucks because Dante Chin, I thought they were going to be a team.
I thought they were going to do something with him. They kept having him in the background of stuff, and they kept eventually we're probably going to do something with him. But on to Drew Gulak. More has come out as to Drew Gulak, as to potentially why he was released, and apparently he was a bully while training. He was apparently you know, intentionally hurting people. Like if someone was coming back from an injury and he knew about it, he would focus on that injury during training or during a match without like clearing it with the person. And then there was one specific moment on a level up show where he dropped a guy right on his neck. Um, so I think that had more to do with it than the Ronda Rousey stuff that came out, which was really nothing. I feel like. I mean, yeah, I guess he did touch her, but I don't know. But I feel like that had more to do with Drew Gulak leaving than anything else. I feel like his backstage reputation was probably not very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, Triple H, I think Tony Khan and Triple H both need to quit doing these stupid press conferences
Yeah.
because every time they do them, all it does is just piss people off. Like, you just got to quit doing them because he didn't answer the Vince McMahon on the one press conference. He didn't answer the Vince McMahon questions the way people wanted him to, and on this one, he didn't answer the Drew Gulak questions the way people wanted him to
Yeah.
because he basically just said that they didn't re-sign him, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like there was more to it than that, but so yeah, in my mind, just quit doing press conference. Tony Khan, Triple H, both just quit
Yeah.
doing them.
Stop doing press conferences. It's yeah. But yeah, so there you go. That's the Drew Gulak situation. Good riddance, honestly. If that's the kind of guy he is.
Yeah,
Fucking want him in the business. That's just how.
I think he was. I mean, honestly, he it sounded like he was kind of that way in the Indies too. Like
Yeah.
he was kind of the grizzled. He tried to be like this grizzled veteran, even though he hadn't really been anywhere to be a grizzled veteran.
Yeah.
And but I think it's also I think this stuff that was happening this at this point had to do with him. He was on SmackDown and he thought he was going to get something at one point, and he got nothing. Got sent to NXT, and he was training and also wrestling. But I think he was a little upset that he got sent down to NXT, and so he was taking it out on the NXT guys. And that's you can't have that.
Yep. All right. So on to SmackDown. This was from France as well. So you had a hot crowd for this. The first match would kick the show off with Bayley, Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi defeating Tiffany Stratton and Damage Control in an 8-woman tag team match. That was a mouthful, and this match was just how every multi-person tag team match is. Everyone was in the ring,
Yeah.
everyone did their stuff, and the good guys won. I uh Carmelo Hayes announced that he is going to participate in the King of the Ring tournament. The Authors of Pain defeated the New Catch Republic. So we had, I guess that's spinning from Raw and then spinning from NXT. So they carried that over into SmackDown. We had the RKO show, which was whatever it was. All that happened. And then they had just a big brawl, as they always do. LA Knight came out to a huge pop as he defeated Angel. And then Santos Escobar and him got into it. So we're going to have an LA Knight Santos Escobar feud now.
Hey, I'm okay with that. I mean, he's got a feud with somebody.
Yeah. Then we had a Carlito interview. They asked him why he attacked Dragon Lee. And he said, I've been away and all I wanted was another Mania opponent or another Mania opportunity. He said, so when Ray challenged Santos and Dominic, he was like, hey, should be me. And then he chose Dragon Lee and he said, Dragon Lee's only been in their group for 5 minutes. He said, that's not cool. And he said that it's not personal. But that's just what he had to do. And then Dragon Lee came out and they got into it. So you know what? Honestly, Carlito is in the right here. I don't think. I mean,
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio overlooked
I
him
mean,
twice for this match. He had Dragon Lee, and then it was Andrade when Carlito was there the whole time. I don't feel like
yeah.
Carlito's the
So how
bad
do
guy.
you, I know, how do you feel about when the bad guys make sense, Ryan? Do you feel like that's a good thing, or do you think that's an oversight by creative and that it's making the good guys look bad?
I mean, this has been Rey Mysterio his entire career, by the way. He always does the wrong shit. But I mean, I don't know. I'm okay with it. It kind of makes everybody feel more real. Like this feels like a real thing that would piss you off if you're Carlito, like if you're in his shoes. So I'm okay with it if it makes sense. And this makes sense. He's pissed off. He's like, man, I've been here. I helped you. I've been in this group. And you overlooked me twice. So I mean, it makes sense. But yeah, it does kind of make Rey Mysterio look stupid. But that's kind of been Rey
Yeah.
Mysterio's whole career, let's be honest. He's not the smartest guy. He always
Yeah.
has his best friends turn on him all the time, and his own son. I mean, come on, for not picking him. That's the same thing that happened to Dominic. He didn't pick him for a tag team match. You think he would have learned his lesson?
Yeah. Yeah. Wait a minute. Come on now.
And your main event match of the night. A-Town Down Under defended the tag team titles against the Street Profits. A-Town Down Under won. And then Cody and AJ had their little segment to end the show, which is really good. The crowd was super into it. They were talking about being together, and then Cody wanted to do Styles. They wanted to do the too sweet hand gesture, and then Styles slapped her heads in the face to end the show.
Yep.
Pretty decent show. Again, the crowd made it better. And then it was officially announced that WrestleMania next year will be in Las Vegas. So Minnesota missed out. It was supposed to. Minneapolis was super hoping that they were going to get it, and I guess Las Vegas outbid them. So,
How you feel about it?
it's Vegas. It's big. I mean, I don't really care. The only thing I'm thinking about is can we have like NXT at the Sphere?
Yeah.
I mean, UFC is going to be there this year. UFC is doing a show at the Sphere in September. So I think it'd be really cool to see the NXT show at the Sphere.
That'd be cool.
Could you imagine what they could do? We talked about that like off podcast. We didn't weren't doing this podcast, but like in conversation when that Sphere just opened, one of the first things I said was I'd love to see WWE do something in there.
Yeah.
And so so I think that'd be really cool. But that's the one thing I think about is what else could we do in Las Vegas? And the Sphere would be pretty cool.
I agree.
Any other news we got to hit this week?
WWE wise, not really, unless you want to talk legal crap with who, and I really don't really feel like we need to. So
No. The only other thing it's happened a couple weeks ago is Logan Paul and Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey kind of called out Logan Paul. Said that he's great on the mic. He does a great job on the mic. I wish I was allowed the time to rehearse that he gets. It's not evenly spread. He's like their next big star. They're rolling out the red carpet. It goes to show that if you give people the time to rehearse and the resources, you can do amazing things. It's frustrating that everybody doesn't get that treatment. My first match with him was incredible because we had 6 weeks to rehearse, all the best minds in the business, blah, blah, blah. And then they never did again. I was like, why isn't this the model? They're doing that with Logan Paul, and he's having these fantastic performances. It blows my mind that this billion-dollar company is succeeding in spite of itself in so many ways. Logan Paul responded. He said, I want to approach this from a real mature standpoint because I like Ronda. What she's done in MMA is incredible. We watched her growing up, snapping arms. I have a lot of respect for her. Blah, blah, blah. He goes, I don't think it's a personal attack on me by any means. I don't feel she's coming after me. I feel she's maybe using me as an example to express her dissatisfaction with maybe how she was treated in the WWE. But I can't speak on that because I don't know how she was treated. I don't think she's a hater. I think she might be unhappy with how her run in WWE went, but I don't know anything really about that. All I know is how I work and the facilities and time that I've been given to make my matches as best as possible. Because I think WWE recognizes that when I put on a good match, which will happen every single time I perform, the outcome and reaction of the fans is immense. So that's his reaction. I mean, I can see Ronda's point to an extent, but the whole rolling out the red carpet, I mean, Ronda was kind of handed the company when she first showed up. So I don't know. I don't know. I get why she'd be frustrated, but it's like you were given a match with Stephanie and Triple H your first night, and then you
Yeah.
win the title within like 2 months, and then you main evented the first and only so far women's pay-per-view, and you main evented Mania.
I think it was her second time around, is what she's talking about.
Yeah, because her first run I thought was pretty good. I don't know. I mean, she got everything she wanted. But yeah, so it could be her second time around. I think Ronda's just kind of in the trying to make outlandish statements to make a name for herself. I think kind of she's trying to promote her book, and I think the best way to do that is to say shit that gets people talking.
Yeah.
So, but that's all. I just wanted to touch on that real quick, but that's all I've got for WWE this week. So, all right, so that's gonna do it for our WWE talk. Tune in tomorrow next because we're going to be talking AEW and everything that's going on over there in the world of All Elite Wrestling. We've got a takeover of sorts happening that we'll get talking about. So that is coming up tomorrow. Thank you for watching and listening, and we'll see you in the next one.